Hello everyone, welcome back to SliverStar Arcade and more of the Great Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we almost talked our way out of guilty verdict, but we had one flaw, and now we are back for a summonation examination. Yeah, we can't catch a break. Okay. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens. Okay. Really? Why does the audio guy do this? That's better. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted.
You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was the pickpocket.
I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead.
I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns.
It would seem there is a little remaining room for doubt.
I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more.
The whole courtroom is turned against me.
It's not fair.
Iris?
That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Jeannie's done something she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer.
Allow me to savor this fruity vintage, while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter.
Hey, you said you rest your case. You're not allowed to talk anymore.
Here's to the truth coming out, eventually.
This does not feel like it's the last court case of this thing. Also, I just found out about the escapades. Yeah, I should have been doing the escapades throughout this. They'll probably be in a bonus video.
That's enough preamble, counsel. Proceed with the summonation examination.
Yes, my lord. Ah, shoot, cat? No. The defense's rebuttal. Oh, there's probably like a cool animation there that I totally missed. Well, the bottom of the nice robe I got as a Christmas gift is now all feathered out like a piece of furniture. I mean, it's still wearable, it's just the bottom of it doesn't look that nice anymore. Anyways, the defense's rebuttal. Once a rogue, always a rogue, to say press.
Hold it!
Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge?
I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces, the greatest military organization in the world?
No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous.
Well, yes, might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget the girl had already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort through and through, can't deny it.
When you say that she'd shown she'd had it in her, are you referring to this?
Exactly. Tried to swipe that only a day earlier, Or am I mistaken?
Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that.
I've never actually seen the real thing. Can't wait to have a closer look at it.
Oh, yes, of course. Mr. Sholmes did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? And then ordered every type of music box he could find from across Europe.
We still don't know what tune it plays though, do we? But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy.
The gilded disc. Could be a clue somehow. Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Obviously the blood.
Oh, Runo, look! This is blood!
Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
Then it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Runo.
Can we get this done quickly, Iris?
In a flash.
Oh, we're doing this right now? Oh, wait, this is going to be like a huge revelation, isn't it? Green.
Ooh, a lovely bright shade again.
Wait, that color.
What is it?
It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? Huh.
For McGilded. That's the man you defended in court a couple of months ago, isn't it, Runo?
Yes, or rather, mistakenly defended.
I wonder what his name is doing on the back of this disc.
That's a question I'd love to know the answer to myself. So, that one's... Yeah, see, green is the same as... So does that mean it's... Well, because my assumption is that this is Herlock's blood, because this is where Herlock got shot. So why would his blood be on the disc? I bet if I had actually played this game and didn't take 2 months breaks in between every group of episodes, I'd probably know. Anyways, press.
Hold it!
It's the number of bullets that has you convinced?
Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes?
sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose,
If there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware,
I'd have to reconsider my position.
a 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene. Could that be possible? Save.
I can prove it.
Allow me to show you then. The 3rd bullet. Shoot.
Take that!
Okay, yep, well, we tried. Yeah, that completely threw me for a loop. I didn't think they were going to ask us to present evidence. It's impossible. Unfortunately, only 2 bullets were discovered by the police during their investigation.
Yes, I know.
Right.
And I don't imagine the good man of Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. If I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office, well, I should receive a sound scolding, I don't doubt.
And he should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. Sounds like a crime scene to me.
A 3rd bullet.
It would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it?
Do you think we might find one lying around somewhere?
Yeah, probably in Herlock's body. You don't need us. Oh, yeah, alright.
Hold it!
So if I've understood correctly, you need two pictures, a left eye one and a slightly different right eye one. Exactly! Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions, like this. So if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them. I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. The only person who could have shot the victim is the girl in the dock. How can you be so sure of that? Think about it. The Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they? Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice. Well then, surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it? This is a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon.
Hold it!
Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it has nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Airlock? No, Hairlock?
Herlock Sholmes by any chance?
Yes, good lord! It was that Hairlock fellow.
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They say he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb. Couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but
Yes?
surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting. The counsel for the defense is correct, as is clearly shown in this photographic print. The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Holmes hit him in the stomach Oh, the bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Holmes hit him in the stomach region. Then exited his body and lodged into a shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just consider the problem 3-dimensionally.
Ha! Who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound in the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did. And there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
What? I knew it!
That's the point! The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I set about slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser. Even now, how many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? So can somebody please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much as a mystery how this jury was put together. The mystery of where that bullet ended up is fearing where's an expert when you need one. Oh. Huh. Well, I'm going to wait before pitting that. The accused attempted theft at the previous day. I can see him in for...
Hold it!
So we know we have to pit juror number 4 to juror number 6, and then probably pit that against juror number 2. What do you mean you're in for a busy day? Forgot to say stop. Do excuse me, stop. I am a communications officer, stop. A communications officer? Does that have something to do with sending telegrams? Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news in the capital. I convert all the messages into Morse code and tap it out to the entire world electronically. To the entire world? Thousands of miles of cable into the sea, stop. Worldwide communication network, stop. Information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe, stop. Yes.
She was getting equally worked up about radio waves or the like before, wasn't she? I specialize in communicating information from government departments and newspaper offices. I see. I'm sure I shall have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. So no sleep for me tonight, I imagine. Let's just finish the trial first, shall we?
I am ballistics expert. I am heavy weapons guy.
Hold it!
I thought you were just a tourist.
Good day, I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
There's no way he's just a visiting tourist. So, you're a ballistics expert. Who knew?
I have much experience with guns.
Ah,
I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme, the bath of, no, blood of,
extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps.
Those, extreme violent bloodbaths. English is very difficult tongue.
Considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue.
Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know. No mystery I cannot solve.
He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure.
But if possible, please only in Russian language.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he?
No.
Still, we should bear that in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets. Van Zeeks has managed to convince everyone. When you have eliminated the impossible, he said. But he hasn't. If we're going to fight back, we need more material. And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. Alright, cool. I know what I need to do. So, pit against you.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other. Ooh, a ballistics expert.
Pittin, P-I-T-T.
On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6.
Hello, my name is Vil. Pleased to meet you.
This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery?
I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold. Golly. The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles, and they were on dog sleds.
Mental note, don't ask too many questions.
I was shot from behind, and I fell down in snow. And this situation was very similar to what I hear today from Doctor. They could not find bullets in my body, and no sign of, how do you say, exit wound. Then where did the bullet go? The bullet never hit me.
Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down?
Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side.
What?
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound that looked just like bullet wound.
Good gracious.
Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me, and that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
But that doesn't answer the question at all. The shooting happened in a pawnbroker's shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country.
Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. Bruno, where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt. A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations. What? Really? Doctor, where is the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember.
If I may. Lord Von Zeeks? While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during the summonation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the attaché chamber outside the courtroom.
Sorry?
As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Ah, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Since then, it has been in my safekeeping, along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summonation examination, I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Warlock Sholmes' pouch. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it?
Look at that. One of the files is broken, and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded.
Exploded?
So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin Brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass vial exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. A delightfully complex aroma. Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least. Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Da, thank you very much. Glad I could help. Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester this scruffy pouch as evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy. The pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing around his waist with a time machine while the glass fire was smashed and there were scorch marks around it.
Now, examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion,
Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue. We can't afford to overlook anything here, Ryosuke. There's still a way to turn this around. Somehow. I'm sure of it. Let's take a look at that. These glass vials are full of Hurley's homemade potions. Homemade? Yes, like fingerprint powder to show up where people have touched things, and scent amplifying solution to intensify a smell lingering on an object. That's amazing. They're all very easy to use. There's just one thing they have to be careful of. They're all very flammable. Mr. Sholmes is a walking bomb. Either he's passionate about finding out the truth, or just oblivious to the dangers. It's really scorched badly just here. Oh, the strap is broken. Look. It must be where the bullet hit then. Let me see. Oh! There's the bullet. What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it? That's the Skulkin Brothers' bullet. What a stroke of luck that hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is there were 3 bullets fired at Winnie Banks that night. We found We found exactly what the juror was talking about. The third bullet.
It's time to press that juror again, I think. Projectile we discovered.
How is Sholmes not dead?
Oh, look, there's a hole here at the back. It doesn't look much like a bullet hole, but clearly something's ripped through the leather with great force.
Something must have pierced it somehow to have left this hole behind.
Yes, it looks that way. Mr. Sholmes and his pouch both took a beating, didn't they?
Hold it!
Alright, come on, let's go through this.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windy Bank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet?
It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
What?
The pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before he was taken to the hospital, and since then it has been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkenburrs that night?
Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print. Ugh!
2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Windybank and that belonged to the Skulkin brothers.
Wait, what if both of the Skulkin brothers had a gun? The examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each.
Ah,
But that must mean...
That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment.
Ugh.
Don't have a heart attack over there. Or do. I honestly don't care.
Order. While this summonation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which this case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summonation examination. By Jupiter!
What?
Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. Witnesses,
Governor!
were you listening to proceedings while the defense carried out the summonation examination?
We was, Governor, we was.
Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer this one question. A 3rd bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that?
Make of it, Gov. I don't make nothing. You can help it.
Is it one of yours?
Gore blimey, Gov. Gore blimey. Not a chance.
In that case, did you have an accomplice?
What? What? Never. The Skulkin brothers work alone. It's just the 2 of us. That's our trademark.
How soon we forget poor Sulky.
Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originate from the firearms we have in evidence. The 3rd bullet must have fired from another gun. Where is it?
Lummy, that's an head scratcher.
Counsel for the defense?
Yes.
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The third bullet, and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came.
Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard, and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this third tells us. I think they had another gun. On that night at Windy Bank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been in possession of another gun. And we know that only one bullet was fired from each of the two firearms already in the court record. The logical conclusion, therefore, is that the brothers were working with an accomplice who was carrying a gun. Wait, what? So did my choice not matter?
An accomplice, you say? Pig's will. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summonation examinations. Yet in all that time, there has not been a murmur of a third man. If this apparently wrath-like being exists, or wraith-like, the court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed.
I didn't say there was a third man. I said they had another gun. 2 people carrying 2 guns is way different than 3 people carrying 2 guns.
Prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this superior character. Skulkins are lying, I know that.
But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding?
Well, counsel?
I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demand, my lord, the defense is... I'd have to... Alright, I'm gonna save here. I would have to say... unable. The defense is...
unable to complete a sentence, it would seem. Much less provide any credible answers here. Yes, it would appear so. Very well, this trial is...
Wait, please.
Good gracious, counsel.
I have to keep the momentum going here. I can't give up now.
This is just like scientific research, if you ask me.
Whoops. Sorry?
When you start doubting yourself and thinking you can't possibly work something out, you become blind. Even though in truth, the answer you're looking for is right there in front of you.
The answer is right in front of me. No, don't tell me it was Gregson. No, my lord. Actually, the defense would like to present the answers to the question posed by the prosecution.
Hold it!
So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. But your earlier tongue-tied display will not go
Oh, what? That's bulls. Now I wish I bit my tongue instead of speaking before I made up my mind. It would have hurt less. In that case, counsel, I would ask you present the evidence without delay. Alright, we're going to try something. If I load and just say, yes, I can present evidence, can I avoid that punishment? Because that's bull. Like, this game's awful. Ready to present answers. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands.
So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promised to be interesting.
I guess the reason I said no is because I thought it was Gregson, but the thought was so outlandish to me that I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it'll make a difference. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene? Is it this? Is it the blood on the disc?
If it is, I'm gonna feel like a genius, but... Take that!
The evidence is this. You perplex me, counsel, by looking so pleased with yourself despite this quite displeasing answer. Ah. Okay, yep, time to reload. Okay, alright, I gotta think. Iris said it's right in front of me. Right in front of me. Wait.
Take that!
Oh, no. Like, I get that they have to make it more difficult, but, like... This sucks.
Take that!
Is it this? Oh! Yes, I was right! The evidence is right. Oh, so I was right about the disc, but just not completely, because the disc... I need to present this, because in order to present the blood on the disc, you need to use the portfolio. Okay, I was on the right track. The evidence is right here in this portfolio. By Jove, that portfolio again, is it? Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. It would... I would say it's number 1. Okay. Well, which one is it? Oh, they show us. I want to say this one. What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. That's a blood stain, my lord. A blood stain? Green blood? Curious, even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature? Unhuman? Oh, that's the first time I've seen that. It's something developed by Mr. Sherlock Holmes. By the great detective? New invention, stop. Not yet appeared in stories, stop.
It's this, you see? It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger spray is a chemical that reacts with different elements in people's blood to change its color.
Different elements of people's blood?
Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. By seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is.
Ooh, that brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtroom, stop. Very excited, stop. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windybank. Oh, a striking blue. Yes, so you see, the green color of this blood stain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop. Now hold fire there, young man. Could be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it? No, it's not unrelated. The date shown on the calendar is the date of which Mr. Windybank was killed. By jolly, or by golly. Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day. Then whose blood is it? Well, the Skulkenbergs in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third party?
Okay, so we're going. Okay, so there's 2 people it could be. I think it makes the most. Okay, so part of me wants to say Gregson, but I think this makes the most sense. Mostly because I love Gregson and I really don't want it to be him.
Take that!
The man's name is Egbert Benedict.
Egbert Benedict? What are you talking about, counsel?
He paid a visit to Windybank's pawnbrokery on the afternoon before the incident took place.
When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession.
That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Egbert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force.
Broker? Yes, sir. I believe this filthy pickpocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes,
I forget their voices, sorry.
the article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel, and needless to say, any music box discs too.
Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you cooperate this account, Inspector?
Yes, my lord, that's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Windybank for a print showing the fellow. Taken from one of his red-handed recorder governors. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windybank that morning.
And you claim this man is the brother's accomplice?
Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin,
Never seen the geezer before in my life.
on my life, Gov, on my life, never seen him.
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion. I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice.
Yes, and I can.
Then show us the evidence!
I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is. It'd be the disc. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in the trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answers to the court then, counsel?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man struck by the third bullet. It would once again be this, I believe. The proof is right here in this portfolio.
Good gracious, counsel, does that portfolio contain the answer to every question posed? I see you share my interest in claret-colored liquids, my Nipponese friend. But enough. The court demands to see further evidence. Which blood sample proves the man you identified was the one shot by the third bullet at the scene of the crime?
Number 4.
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windybanks.
Which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no?
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred. But of course, sir. Here is the disc for you. Very well. Oh, you can see... Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. You can see the torn seam on his back. How did I not see this on a first playthrough? That... Man, they... Huh. I love this game. This game's awesome. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute, that disc. Speaking of awesome games, I just finished the Live Alive remake, and holy shit, was it good. Like, I can't even say anything about it, because, like, I knew nothing about it. I didn't watch any trailers. I just saw it announced, and I was like, huh, wonder what that's like. And then I got it as a Christmas gift, and oh my god, I loved it. Loved it, and I'm so glad I didn't watch any of the trailers or was introduced to any of the characters. I experienced it all for the first time, and man, was it awesome. You should go play it. It's a great game. Is mine. What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. How'd you draw blood? You're wearing gloves. Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions cause Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resultant smear of blood is still visible on the disc now. Goodness, a bloodstain, is it? My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom.
Using my trusty fogger gun.
Yes, and we add the results to this portfolio. I say!
It's green.
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same color as the bloodstain around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Egbert Benedict, who was in Winniebanks earlier in the day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night. So there was someone else there.
Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets.
Oi, what are you talking about? It's boiling in here. My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Egbert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify. It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Herlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical person in the highest court in the land? Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to you successfully proven that no other blood in the world would turn the same color. Well... Oh, hey, the boot. And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it. Is he right? Is Mr. Sholmes' concoction a load of rubbish? I don't know. I mean, he is a great detective. What are you talking about? We can't let him get away with that. I knew it would come to this. Of course Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have?
I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. About how he was temporarily suspending the summonation examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief. What did you just say, young girl?
And in a summonation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it?
Oh shit.
So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Huey's invention. At least, not for now.
Yes, she's right. That did say invention, right? Yes, it did.
Young lady, you have quite the devious mind.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Runo. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with.
Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
After that shrewd, precise of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous examination has yet to reach its conclusion. This is absurd. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final lean-ins in this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Guilty.
Guilty!
Not guilty.
Oh,
Two called guilty and four called not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection!
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision. On what grounds? If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt. I'm sorry, Lord Von Zeeks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue.
ugh. Ugh. He's going to drop dead of a heart attack. Do we win? Is that like when the teacher doesn't show up for 10 minutes, you're allowed to leave? Like, if the prosecution drops dead of a heart attack, do you just get a not guilty verdict?
Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible.
What?
The name of the gentleman gave for himself, Egbert Benedict, is quite clearly false.
I don't believe it. Just when I'd managed to prove the man was there that night.
Could I say something? Who is that? Please, who spoke?
It was me, my lord. Juror number 5?
What have you to say, madam?
If possible, Inspector.
Me, ma'am?
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman is shown?
Right, yes. This one, you mean, of Mr. Benedict?
Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. Juror number 5, you don't mean to say you know this man? Yes, I know him. What?
No!
Good gracious! Order.
Juror number 5, how on earth?
I am a communications officer. Stop. As we can clearly see, the gentleman in the photograph is stop. Also a communications officer. Stop. He works in my office. Stop. A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph. Stop. This doesn't seem right somehow. Can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right. I suppose we all imagined the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night. Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If the gentleman is at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Von Zeeks, if you please. Yes, my lord. Make the necessary arrangement with all haste, as your lordship bids. The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witnesses arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson,
Yes, my lord.
I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
To be continued. Perfect. I was hoping it would end like this because I need to go to bed. It is 3:46 in the morning. Yes, save current progress. All right. And in the next episode, we will tackle that. So, thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay safe, have fun, and have a great day.